Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing out there this evening? Welcome to the channel. Just sitting back and relaxing this evening. I'd like to know how all of you are doing this evening as well. I got me a new backdrop here. It's actually a piece of fabric that I found. I've been having it for years. It's got the year 2000 written on it, and that's how old this piece of fabric is. I guess it was meant for the millennium when it I guess somebody could have made him a nice prom dress out of it or something because it's taffeta. I washed it and I dried it. It's semi-dry. It's dry. But I'm still waiting on my other backdrops to come in. Oh, that's good. So I've been starting my days off in the garden, cleaning around the pepper plants that I have left over. I must have probably 40 pepper plants still. Most of them, I think 3 jalapenos and I think 4 Iberian cayennes. And I've got some, what we call a garden jalapeno, and it doesn't have any heat to it at all. And then I bought 3 other kinds of peppers, but they look like jalapenos, but they don't have any heat to them at all. I don't think I'll be buying those again. And then I have a bell pepper plant that's called a candy cane. It's got white and green stripes on it. It makes a very pretty plant. It's like variegated. Even the leaves on it are variegated. It's very beautiful. It's the only one I have like it, and it's the only one that I ever had like it too. Now the rest of my pepper plants is going to be either sweet banana peppers or gypsies, and I have a few of the green bell peppers. So that's really all that's left in the garden is peppers right now. I do have a little patch of turmeric. It's struggling. It's the worst patch of turmeric I've ever had, actually. And I do have 2 plants of comfrey also. Now those I've been putting into my fertilizer buckets, where I'm making a fertilizer with water and just adding stuff into it, like the comfrey, and it makes like a fertilizer tea. It works real good for the plants. I do like that. And my cucumbers are going out. So I've been picking the old yellow cucumbers off of it and bringing them to the chickens and chopping them up. And they love them. They enjoy them very much. My eggplants, I have 3 eggplant plants in there, but I don't know if they're going to make anything else. They don't look very good, actually. I tore all those old tomato cages out of there. There was a bunch of those, and a lot of them had those wasp nests on them, but I got them all out. I did get them out, and I think I have 1 row still to go, and I'm probably going to do that one in the morning. So I'm looking forward to getting that out of there. But I didn't want to take them out too early because they was kind of shading my other plants. And I just wanted them to I wanted to leave those cages with those weeds on them and stuff to shade my pepper plants, because the pepper plants, they can't take that strong heat and sunlight that we've been having. So I'm getting it cleaned up. I need to get in there with the weed eater again and go down some of the rows with that. And I would have did that this evening, but it rained a little bit and it's kind of wet in there. So I really do not want to get my weed eater wet because it's an electric weed eater. And it's not the plug-in type, but it's the battery type. And I don't know. I don't like to get it wet. I want it to last a long time, so I'm trying to take care of it. A lot of times, we put equipment into the water like that, or into wet grass, I should say, like our lawnmowers, weed eaters, anything like that. And it really shortens the life on them tremendously, actually. So I like to try to mow when the grass is completely dry, and the same thing for the weed eater. Now that weed eater I got, I've been enjoying it very much. It's the first time I've ever had a weed eater like that where it has a battery on it. And I love it. It's awesome. It's lightweight. I don't have to fool with the gas for the engine. I don't have to fool with pulling the rope to start it. None of that. And no carburetors or anything like that. You just charge the battery, put it on, and go. The only other thing is the string. You do have to change the string in it from time to time, which that's to be expected, really. And what else did I do in the garden? Well, I picked a bunch of the hot peppers. Yesterday, I picked the banana peppers and the bell peppers, and I brought those in and I chopped them up, and it made me about a gallon. So I filled up a gallon Ziploc with those, chopping them up. And then today I did those jalapeno type peppers that don't have any heat to them. I picked all of those that needed to be picked. And then I picked the Iberia cayennes also. Brought those in, chopped them up, and I put them through the food processor. Those I did. And I put them in some jars with some, and then I did like the vinegar, heated the vinegar up, poured that over them, and ran them through a water bath for about 10 minutes. And then I took them out, they sealed. So I got a couple of jars like that. And I like to use those for gumbo. It's very good. You just take a little of that, put that down into your gumbo, that vinegary hot pepper. It's very, very good. Nice addition. You can also put it in rice and gravy. It's a good addition for that as well. So got that done. And then I figure tomorrow, if I can get back in there, I'll get those jalapenos off, because that's the only peppers I still have left to pick. And I want to keep those separate from all the other ones, just so I can label them with whatever I do with them. I can label them and have them as the jalapenos. So I figure that's what I'll do with those tomorrow. Hopefully I can get out there and get that done. If the weather permits, I will, the Lord's willing, I will get out there and do that tomorrow morning. I didn't cook anything today. I had some leftovers. I had some stir fry from last week, and that's what we ate for lunch. And so I didn't cook anything today. I cooked so much the last couple days. I had cooked that chicken pot pie, and then I made chicken and dumplings, and I made a little deer roast, and some red beans with smoked sausage in it. And I did that different than I usually do. Usually I'll just cut up the sausage and put it directly in the beans, but this time I cut into the sausage and got the meat out of it and put that into the beans like that. And it made a lot better smoke flavor in those beans. It went through and through, I got to really capitalize on all the smoke in the sausage like that. So I cooked them like that, and it was some of the beans that I had canned. I had canned a bunch of red kidney beans, and they came out good, y'all. That's the first time I had ever canned beans, was last year. And I thought, that was going to be hard or whatever, but it was not hard at all. And I thought you had to cook the beans before you canned them, and you don't. You just basically soak the beans the night before, and then the next day you put them in the jars with so much water and put them in your canner. And I think they have to stay in a pressure canner for like 70 minutes, I want to say. And I got several of them done. I mean, that really cuts back on your time for cooking dry beans. I don't know if you've ever cooked dry beans before, and especially some big beans like some pinto beans or red kidney beans. Those are kind of big beans, and they take a long time to cook. But if you do them in those jars in that pressure canner, they cook. They're cooked whenever you take them out of that pressure canner. They're done. And that way you have some good beans in the pantry. Whenever you want beans and rice or beans and whatever, just take that jar out of the pantry and you got you some good cooked beans. So after I did a couple of them and realized how easy it was, I did several different kinds of the ones that I had, because I had some Great Northerns that I wanted to do and some pintos, and I did the red kidney beans. I think that's the only 3 kind that I did, but it was pretty easy. And then I also canned some deer meat for the first time ever. That was pretty easy too. And like I said, you don't have to cook it or anything at first. You just pack it into the jars and put the lids on them and put them in that canner. And for meat, I don't know if it was 70 minutes. It was a long time, but the meat was so tender, like the same thing with the beans, when I did the meat, it was tender right when it came out of the canner. And so when I use it, I don't have to cook it a long time to get it tender. It's already tender. So that's a good thing. You could take it and make all kind of different meals with canned meat. So I learned a lot about canning last year. I really did. And I bought a lot of canning supplies. One neat thing was, you know how the canning supplies are so expensive nowadays? Hi, Puddin' Tang. The chicken and dumplings look so delicious. I just finished watching the video. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too. They were very good. They were. I love chicken and dumplings. Mama used to make that, and I always loved it, but I love carbs. So that explains why I would love that meal. They did. They came out good, and I was surprised, that the dumplings was so easy to make, and that the dough came out good and tender and everything, because I don't make that very often. And I came across a recipe in one of my recipe books. I get a lot of recipe books from churches that do, it's like the whole congregation or assembly will donate their recipes, their home recipes, and make a cookbook out of them. And I have several of those from this area, and they got a lot of good recipes in those. And that's where I came across that one for those chicken and dumplings. That was a good recipe. I'm going to be making that again. I just find that they don't do well as leftovers. And I didn't know that when I made the video. I would have said that, but so when you make them, or if you make them, make enough for that one time, because they don't do that well on the next day. The dumplings, I guess they just, I don't know, they didn't hold together real good the next day, and they just didn't taste the same to me. They was the at their very best on that first day that I had made them. The canning equipment. Oh yeah, okay. Puddin' Tang says, tell us about the canning equipment. I'm so sorry to interrupt you talking about the canning equipment. Oh no, that's not a problem, but thank you for reminding me. Oh yeah, okay. I was going to say that all those jars and everything's so expensive. Like if you go just local and try to buy some new jars, they're so expensive. Well, I had got the idea to call a local radio show. We have a local radio show called The Swap Shop, and everybody in the listening area can call at certain times. They do one in the morning and they do one at noon, and they usually last about 30 minutes. And anybody can call and say if they have something they want to sell or something they want to buy, and leave their number. And if anybody listening has that thing or wants to buy that thing, they can call that person and, make it happen. And I've used the swap shop a lot. I found a lot of things on there. Well, I had told Mr. E, I said, when we was looking for those drawers and they were so expensive, I said, let me try the swap shop and see what I can come up with. So I called a couple of times. One time somebody called me and I think they had like 30 drawers or something like that. I mean, that is a lot of drawers, but you can buy like 24 of them just locally, easily. And but another person had called me and they said that their mom had canned her whole life and she had passed on, and she had boys, and the boys, they wasn't interested in the canning, and I guess their wives weren't either. So he responded to my call, and they must have had like 300 drawers or something. It was unbelievable. So I got with him and went up there. I had to drive, and Mr. E came with me, but I had to drive. It was, I guess, like an hour away from here, but it was worth it because I got a bunch of good drawers for half the price or less than half the price than I would have paid for them in the store. And then she had some other stuff that they threw in with it, like the little things you grab the drawers out of the hot water with, and some funnels too. So it was a lot of stuff in there. Pudding says, when I grew up, I remember my parents listening to the radio and the swap shop. They don't have swap shop on the radio here in Florida near me. Well, we've always had the swap shop here as long as I can remember anyhow. Some of the first things I can remember swapping on it back when I was a kid was some little dogs. My mama had found this little dog, y'all, on side the road. And guess what? It was pregnant. But it was a cute little dog. It was like a little peekaboo. And I don't know what that dog was doing on side the road, really, because it looked like, a high dollar dog. I don't know why it was on side the road. And but Mama picked it up in the rain on side the highway. It's not like it was around some houses or anything. And anyway, the little dog was pregnant, and the dog had babies at the house, and it was some very cute little puppies. It looked like some little pickapoo poodles or something. I don't know, but they were very cute and had the little curly hair and everything. And I can remember when they got ready, we said, well, call the swap shop because she couldn't keep all them dogs. And so she did. She called the swap shop, and I remember her telling the man on the swap shop, she said, they've got all their little bags ready, packed, and they're ready to go. And I don't know, it must have been a hit because the phone started ringing, and before you knew it, all them dogs was gone. I think she might have kept one out of the litter. But anyhow, I'm trying to remember. I think she kept one and named it Lucy. And Lucy was her baby, let me tell you. And one day my dad would always go to the deer camps on the weekends or whatever, and all his friends would be out there, and those men would be, drinking and having fun, talking, laughing. And they had a deer camp, so there would be guns too, of course. And some of those men, they would practice with shooting and whatever. And one of them shot one of them big high-powered rifles. And my dad had went out there that time and brought Mama's dog Lucy. Well, that sound scared that little dog so bad that she took off running in the woods. And Daddy he kept calling and calling, and she wouldn't come back. And then the little dog ended up going hide somewhere in the woods. And no matter how much he called, he couldn't get that little dog to come out, y'all. And he had to go home without that dog and tell my mama that he couldn't find her. He told her the whole story and everything, and that he couldn't find her. She wouldn't come. And he said Mama wanted to go, and see if she could find her little precious dog, Lucy. And so he took her out there, and he said it was so pitiful. Hear Mama crying for that poor little dog out there. And I don't remember if she came out that night or if they had to go back the next morning, but they did find her. She did eventually come out after she had, she wasn't scared no more. She did come out. But Daddy said he never brought her back to the deer camp again. Oh, Lucy, she wasn't going back to the deer camp after that. I don't remember why Mama wasn't at home with her dog. She probably had went to her sister's or something. She used to go to her sister's sometime, and they would enjoy each other's company and everything. And maybe she just hadn't brought the dog that time, is what I'm thinking, because she would bring the dog over there a lot too. I know she would bring that dog to her sister's house because I remember her saying that her and her sister would cook all the time, and when they would start eating, Mama would always give Lucy some of the food that they had cooked and that they was eating. But her sister, we called her Ain't To It, sometimes she wouldn't give Lucy anything off of her plate. She'd tell Lucy, she'd say, "That's too good for you, Lulu." So I know Mama definitely did usually bring the dog over there. But Daddy, he was babysitting her, and I guess he thought he was doing the right thing, bringing her out there to that deer camp with him. He probably didn't want to leave her at home alone, you see. But evidently it was the wrong choice. But we all got little dogs that we love, or at least most of us do. I know I do. It looks like I always have a dog. It seems like there's never been a time in my life when I didn't have one. Sometimes a cat. There was a time when I didn't have any cats here at the house, and we ended up with some mice when that happened too. We definitely need to have cats around our houses, especially when we have barns like I do, with feed and everything like that. Even if you keep your feed well contained, the mice are attracted to that smell, and they be out there in that feed shed. So anyway, right now I got 3 dogs and 1 cat, Kiki. Every now and then she does something funny, and I video her and put it on here. She likes to do some little flips, I call it. She's something. I got her on a short where she's doing some flips. She'd just catch a mood sometime and start doing something crazy. Last night we was outside, and she climbed one of them poles out there, one of them wooden poles. She just climbed right on up it, and me and Mr. E was like, "What's going on?" I wish I would have had my camera, but I guess cats do that all the time, climbing up stuff. Pudding Tang says, "We have 2 little dogs, They getting older now, almost 10 years old now. Yeah, that is old. I've had some that old too. I was trying to think how old mine are, and they got to be getting up there too. But I think mine are like maybe 6 and 7. But I've had some that got up there. My little dog Poochie, y'all might have heard me talk about him before, and I think he lived to be 13. He he wasn't fixed, and he would run around, and I'd have to chase him down around the neighborhood to locate him because I'd be so scared something had happened to him. But now my dogs are fixed, so I don't have to run him down like that anymore. But Poochie, he was something else. He'd go missing, but I knew what he was doing. I'd go catch him. I'd call everybody in the neighborhood and ask him, did they see that little dog? And describe him to him and everything. And they'd be like, yeah, we seen him here. We seen him there. And before you know it, I'd have him tracked down. And when I would find him, he would look at me like he didn't know who I was. And any other time, he was just as spoiled as could be. I could hold him on my hip like a baby. He was a kind of a small dog. He wasn't as small as a Chihuahua. He was kind of the size of maybe a weenie dog, but he wasn't as long as a weenie dog. He was a little bit thicker, and he was black and white, and he had some nice big ears that stood straight up, and he would sit up on his butt, y'all, and his back would be straight up. I'd never seen any other dog do that before. One time we was cooking out here, and all the family was here, and that dog did that. And one of the nieces started she took her phone out and started taking pictures. She said, I've never seen a dog do that before. But I think that dog had a little bit of corgi in it. He had, because his little ears look like that. And I've seen, it seems like I've seen, like on funny videos or something, a corgi sitting like that. So I'm wondering maybe just those kind of dogs can do that. But my little dog Poochie, he was not no pure corgi. I can promise you that. He was very much a mixed breed. Most of my dogs always are mixed breeds because usually I either find them abandoned or I have even gotten a couple of them from the pound. So usually the dogs I have are not purebred. Now we did get some little dogs that was purebred one time from a woman that lives down the road. My son was friends with one of her grandsons, and she raised dogs like that. She had a place where she would raise them, and she had a couple of different kinds of little dogs, and they were some very cute little dogs and everything, but that was the hardest dogs to house train. And that's when I said, I don't want no more purebred dogs no more, or at least not that kind, because they was very hard to house train. And all the little mutts I ever had that I brought in the house, I ain't never had that much trouble house training as I did that one little purebred one. I think I had 2 of them from her, but that was a while back. Been a few years. I love my little dogs though. I made them some little doggy beds. One of my son's friends was cleaning out their barn, and they had some big, thick egg crates in there. It wasn't the little thin ones like you normally see. It was some big, thick ones, and they were very firm, and they was just perfect size to make a big dog bed with. Because my dogs are kind of big, the 2 that I have right now, So I needed a kind of big bed for them. And those ones you buy like at Tractor Supply or whatever, they're very expensive, and I didn't want to go out and put that kind of money on a dog bed. So I got to thinking, what could I use that I had around here? And I said, hey, those egg crates. So I went up in the attic and I got those down, and I just took some old sheets and I sewed some cases for them, which I actually had a video on that when I had made them little cases for them dog beds. So that was kind of neat. I love my little dogs. And you really not supposed to have them get up on furniture or beds or anything like that, because when they jump down, they can hurt themselves. Especially those bigger, heavier dogs, I would think. So it's better to have them on the floor on their own little beds. But they some cutie pies. I love them. I love my little animals. I really do. And Kiki the cat, love her too. She loves deer meat. When I start cutting deer meat in the kitchen, she comes running. And she can smell it. She can be on the other side of the house and she will smell that deer meat. And she'll come in there and start meowing until I give her some. And if it's a beef or a chicken or anything like that, and she notices I'm cutting something like that, she'll still come to me. But when I give it to her, she will not touch it. Not unless it's deer meat. If it's chicken or beef, she don't want nothing to do with it. And once I season it, she don't want nothing to do with it. Even if it's deer meat, if it's seasoned, she don't want it. So I just have to give her the deer meat, y'all. That's the only kind she likes. And unseasoned, please. And raw also. I guess that's just her instinct. That's what she likes, hey? So got to give her what she wants. She's a cat, man. We just started watching a movie on YouTube. I think we started watching it yesterday, called The Stand. I don't know if y'all ever seen that, but it's available on YouTube right now. And it's like a 6-hour movie. But I said, oh, well, let's watch it. We started watching it. We watched a few of them, and a few hours of it, I should say. And so we still have a few hours left of it, which at 7 o'clock, I'll go back, turn it on, and watch some more of it. When Mr. E comes in, we'll watch it together. Pudding Tang says, I'm gonna have to go back and watch the older videos so I can see some of the dogs. I saw a dog follow Mr. E on his morning tour videos. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. You see, he goes out there every morning with his coffee and with their biscuits. And they expecting that. They know the sound that cup makes when he's stirring that cup, that spoon in that cup. They know it's time to go outside and get them biscuits, and they sitting on ready, let me tell you. So there's two of them that stay in here. That would be Jack and Oreo. That's the two black dogs. They stay in here. And then the other one, that white one, that one's Izzy, and she stays outside. She's the outside dog. And actually, I don't know if you can say she is our dog or not, because that was the neighbor's dog, and she came over here and she decided she wasn't going back to the neighbor. So she's been here for quite some time now. But she's a real good dog. She don't fool with my chickens. She don't fool with my goats. She don't give nothing a hard time around here. She's just a good little guard dog. So can't fight that, huh? Pudding says, I read the book The Stand, written by Stephen King. It was a good book. I read it in the 80s. Uh-huh. I didn't read the book. I bet you that was a thick book. I bet that took a while to read. That was a beat. That I mean, it's a 6-hour movie. I'm pretty sure I've seen that movie, like when it first came out. And because we was watching it last night, I don't know, I forget stuff, y'all. We was watching it last night, and this guy comes on the scene, and he's walking up to these big fuel tanks. And I said, he's a pyromaniac. And Errol looked at me, and that's Mr. E. He looked at me and he said, "How you know that?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "I must have seen this movie before." Pudding says, it was kind of scary, end of the world type thing. And the walking dude, he scared me. Oh, yeah, I know. Hold on. Exactly. I'm trying to think what they referred to him. They gave him a name on there. But anyway, they're like the part that we're at right now, they're all in Nevada, the bad people. And the good people, I think they're in another state. I should know. Huh? I've been watching it. But yeah, it is a kind of freaky movie, I guess. Especially after what we all went through in 2020, and then seeing this movie that it was made, or that the book even was written back in the 80s. Like you said, you read the book in the 80s. So and then after going through everything we did in 2020, and now watching that book in hindsight, looking back on everything, it is a little freaky. Yeah, it is. Because all the people in the book or the movie, whatever, it starts out with them having a flu that breaks out of this place where they're doing experiments. Very weird. But it wasn't, so far, it wasn't too bad, as far as scenes that we don't really care for. So it did have a little gore in it, though. I have to say that so far it did, with the dead people and all that. I don't know. We don't watch a whole lot of movies, really. Every now and then we get in the mood to watch a movie, and sometimes we'll rent them off of Prime, or sometimes we'll find them for free on Prime too. But sometimes it's hard to find a good one that you don't have to actually pay for. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of them, and they come available from time to time. Just like this one, it just popped up on YouTube. The only bad thing I don't like about this one is you can't do the closed captions on it. When we went to it to turn the closed captions on, they weren't available. And with the air conditioners running and everything, it's hard to understand some of the stuff they're saying. So a lot of times I like to, and Mr. E too, because he has one bad ear, so it's very hard for him to understand a lot of it. And we like to put the closed caption that's on, and that way anything that we don't understand, we can catch it on the closed caption. So we was both a little disappointed that we couldn't get the closed caption with it, but we're making it through it. We just got it cranked up, turn the air conditioner off in the living room, and I'll turn the air conditioners on somewhere else in the house to make up for it. Yep, mostly the older movies, Pudding Tang says. Yep. I'll tell you what we do like is the Clint Eastwood movies. A lot of those. I like the closed caption also. It helps a lot. Yeah, it does. I was thinking about doing that with some of my videos. I hadn't figured it all out yet, but there's a way that I would be able to set the closed caption from my side. Because if I don't set the closed caption from my side for the videos, I don't think y'all can do closed caption on them. I don't know. I need to check into that because, I mean, even us, like I said, we use the closed caption on a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of stuff we don't use it on, especially YouTube stuff. But like Prime, we almost always use the closed caption in there because it's more available, more readily available. I think a lot of people like that. I know sometimes, like when I first started doing my videos and I had music on them, some of the people said they didn't really care for the music, not so much because of the way the music, the music itself, but because they couldn't hear me talking over that music. And I didn't really even have the music loud. It was just low. But, it's hard for some people to hear. Like Mr. E got one bad ear. Okay. There's a lot of times we'll be watching a movie and they say, why they put that music so loud or the background stuff so loud? I can't hear what the people saying. And as I get older, I have more of that problem too. Music does ruin a lot of good videos, Pudding Tang says. Uh-huh. You see, we're not so lately we're not creators, but I mean even the professionals mess their movies up with that music. So I've been trying to not put the music in my videos where I'm mostly talking at. What I've been trying to do is take like some of the best parts of the video and put it at the beginning with it muted on like the first 30 seconds of the video, just to kind of show a little bit of what the video's about. Like if I'm cooking something, I'll show pictures of the process and the finished process, and I'll have a little music over that. And then then when I start talking, I'll lower it down to nothing. You really do need good sound whenever you're doing those videos because people want to hear what's going on. Hello. It only makes good sense, doesn't it? And why we get tempted to put that music in there. So talented to edit videos. I enjoy watching them. Well, thank you so much. I enjoy you watching them too. We try to get people to watch them. You never know what people are like or not like. But like I said, I don't create, stuff to put on videos. I'm basically just taping stuff that I would be doing even if I wasn't making videos. And, like the garden stuff and all, I hadn't even been out there lately to film because when I do go out there, it's so much work and it's so hot. It's like I just haven't even been bringing the camera in the garden with me because it's just so hard working out there right now. It's so hot and I've had trouble with the wasps stinging me. That might have made a good video. People probably like to see something like that. But I still have one row left in there I need to take down of old tomato cages, and I'm probably going to do that in the morning. So I was thinking I might bring my camera out there and just show y'all what I'm having to go through to take down one row of those tomato cages. These days, who knows what people watch? That chopping celery we need to know more about it. I think so too. I want to show y'all that because my plant is starting to die back a little bit. So I need to show it to y'all before it dies back completely. But that is some good stuff. well, like you've seen, it's a lot thinner than, the big stalks that we're used to buying at the grocery store. But it has the same celery scent. It has the same celery flavor. And I got it, 20 feet away from my porch out there. So anytime I'm cooking and I want some fresh celery, all I got to do is just walk right out there, pinch a few of those off and bring them in and wash them, chop them up, and I've got celery, which is awesome. I mean, because I love to cook with celery. It has so much good flavor. That celery looks good, and I love the flavor of celery. Me too. I find it goes so well with chicken, but it also goes good. I've used it like in tuna salad. Goes good in that too. And also deer gravy or beef gravy, it goes good in that too. Soups. You could put celery in a lot of stuff. You could put that in a salad. I actually prefer that one to the big one when it comes to a salad, because I find that big one, it's got those little strings in it, and something I don't really like that texture. I love the taste, but those little strings, I don't like that in a salad. Of course, you could cut it real fine and it wouldn't matter, but I like this cutting celery, y'all. I like that a lot. When I first discovered that, I was just like, oh yeah, I have to keep this all the time. Now, I had a hard time sprouting my seeds for that this year, but I kept on and kept on and finally got enough sprouted to where I had a nice little pot of it. Now, I'm pretty sure that that's an annual, so you have to re-sprout it each year. But I'm going to try to keep it because I have it in a pot. When that cold weather comes, I'm going to bring it in, maybe the greenhouse or I don't know, out of the weather though, somewhere, and see if I can get it to last till next spring. My husband is the same. He hates the texture of regular celery. Yeah, those little strings in it get you. But especially like some people you see, they'll use them big old long pieces of celery like that and put peanut butter on them and eat it. Well, that looks good, but when you try to eat that and it's got those long strings in it, just like, oh no, that's not gonna work. No, thank you. Now, of course, you can't do that with this little celery. No big old thing of peanut butter on it either. But I don't think I'm really gonna try to eat peanut butter on celery anyway. But some people have the big long pieces, even in like a little vegetable tray or something when you go to a party, which I don't hardly go to no parties, but let's face that. But still, I have been to some where they had it like that and I didn't care for it. Now, them little carrots, them little baby carrots, that's good. And some ranch dressing, I like that. That's a good appetizer. First time I went somewhere and ate that, I really enjoyed it. I chop it and dehydrate it and powder it because I like the flavor of celery. Now you see, I never tried to do that with it. I have to try that, which I wouldn't do that with this kind because it would just take so much because it's so little, You have to do that. Like if you go to Walmart or the grocery store and buy you a big old thing of it when it's on sale, that would be the time for me to try that, to dehydrate it or powder it. I don't know if I ever had powdered celery. What I usually would do is get the celery seed in the seasoning aisle and use that because I never seen the powder. I dehydrate a lot of food before it goes bad, Pudding Tang says. Now, I do have a dehydrator here, and Mr. E has dehydrated some. What has he dehydrated? He has done some peppers, a lot of peppers, because we had a bunch of peppers come in. Last year, he dehydrated a bunch of those, but used to, and usually what we will use the dehydrator for is deer meat to do some jerky with, season it up right and make some jerky with it. That's good. Now, something different I dehydrated last year or the year before, I think it was the year before, was persimmons. You can get, I got, well, I don't have a couple trees like that, but I have one, and then my mother-in-law has one or two, and she has one of those that you can eat the persimmons while they're still hard. Because they have the persimmons that when they get ripe, they real mushy like, but they also have the kind that when they get ripe, they're still kind of hard. Now she has both, and she brought me some of the ones that when they get ripe, they're still kind of hard. And I took those and sliced them really thin and dehydrated them, and it made them so sweet. It just concentrated the sugar in them. And I saved them in some jars with some little absorbent packs in them, and they kept very good. I still have some of them, and it makes a very good healthy snack. Pudding Tank says mushrooms and onions, but onion smell will make your house smell bad. Strong onion smell. Maybe you could just put the dehydrator on the back porch for when you do that. The onions. I dehydrated watermelon too. Boy, it must have not been much left to that after you dehydrated it, huh? Because watermelon's like all water. Did it keep its red color? You must have had a slice. You must have not sliced that too thin to have anything left when you got through. But I bet it made a good concentrated sweetness too. I would like to try that. That sounds interesting. I have not eaten my first watermelon this year. I've seen some different stuff on YouTube with watermelons. Some people had got watermelons that had something funny with them or whatever. I don't know. But I love watermelon, and I hadn't got my first watermelon this year. But if I don't go get one, I'm gonna miss out completely because the season's gotta be close to being done. That's what I think. Yeah, I put it outside for onion. Yes, the watermelon looks like jerky. Ah, it takes a few days, but it's good. I bet it is good. I bet it has a good concentrated sweetness and watermelon flavor to it. That's something I've never seen anybody dehydrate, but I bet that is good. But now I've seen in the store pineapple dehydrated and banana chips. And I've eaten those and they're good. I'm lazy and dehydrate the seeds in the watermelon. I can't pick out every seed. I don't blame you. I wouldn't either. Sometimes I eat the seeds when I eat watermelon. It's more fiber, right? And there's probably some kind of nutrition in that seed that we're not even aware of. Pineapple is delicious dehydrated. It is. Pineapple's so good. I absolutely love pineapple. I don't care if it's fresh or canned or dehydrated or just the juice of it. I love pineapple. It is so good. I think it's very good for you too. I read some different stuff about it being very good for you, like for your digestion and probably a lot of other things too. I can't think of right now, but the very healthy pineapple. I tried to make some muffins last night and I had some pineapple flavoring. Well, my pineapple flavoring was expired, y'all. I put some in there and it didn't smell like pineapple. It didn't taste like pineapple. I just said, okay. After I kept pouring and pouring, it still didn't taste like anything. I said, okay, well, it really is expired. What I had really wanted to use was some almond flavoring, but I didn't have any. I thought I had almond flavoring and I didn't. So I put that on my shopping list, and next time I go to town, hopefully I can find some apples, bananas, but the banana turns brown if you don't dip it in lemon juice. I don't mind the brown, so I just eat it. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's only for looks anyway. It's not like it actually changes it other than the looks of it. But I've had those dehydrated apples too. I can remember a long time ago, my mom had got some commodities and it had some apples in it, dehydrated apples, but they weren't hard. They were soft. They almost was the consistency of dough, but they were dry. It's hard to explain. But I remember her taking them and rehydrating them and making pie with them. And it was good. It was very good. Used to get different stuff in your commodities than what you see nowadays. I guess it just changes from time to time. Back then I can remember getting butter. It would be like a big thing of butter. You know how now you buy butter and it's got 4 sticks in it? Well, this would be like if you can imagine all of those 4 sticks being together in one big block. I can remember them getting butter like that in their commodities, and honey too. Some big jars of honey. They would come in a plastic jug like the honey. I guess, through the years they give different stuff. They still have all those programs. They just give different things. I see a lot of juice and stuff like that. Well, it's about time to go watch the movie with Mr. E. Yes, it is. You sure are right. And I have really enjoyed the videos this week. Well, thank you for watching, Pudding Tang, and thank you for coming in and chatting with me. I sure appreciate it, and I enjoyed it as well. Very much enjoyed the chat. So take care of yourself, and hopefully I can come back Thursday. Hopefully I'll still be alive, and hopefully y'all will be too. And have a little chat with y'all Thursday evening. So take care of yourself and take care of each other. God bless you too. I hope you have a great evening as well. Thank you. See y'all later now. Bye.